This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neese with the Raw Life Health Show. I have such a passion for minimalizing things and just not getting overburdened with stuff we don't need. Way too many people have way too much stuff. And I'm really excited because today I'm going to interview my friend who's managed to live happily in 60 square feet. And how in the world does he do this? We're going to see today on the show, so check it out. Hey everybody, here we are with the Raw Life Health Show. We got a guest today, our friend Will. And Will is going to give us a tour today of his house. And he lives in a very big house, right?
Yeah, huge.
Okay. This is the most amazing house. Will, why don't you first tell us about your house here. Tell us about how long have you been living in this house?
I've been living in this house about a year and a half. About the 6 months before I moved in, I started building it.
Okay.
It's a whopping spacious 60 square feet.
60 square feet.
Yep.
Okay.
It's amazing how little you actually need when you start downsizing. And for me, it was through several processes. So my house that I bought about, 15 years ago or so, that was, I think, about 1,200, 1,300 square feet. Then I moved in a house that was 800 square feet. Then I had an apartment, like a little studio that was 350 square feet or something, and now I cut it in quarter again down to 60.
And you're comfortably living currently in this house of 60 square feet.
Yeah, it's great. For one person, I think it's perfect. I think you might want 70 square feet for two people.
Great. Well, why don't you take us on a tour of your house?
All right. This is my 2009 Chevy Express. It's a cargo van that I converted. You know, I've got a roof rack on it, so it really just looks like a work van. And I can park this thing anywhere. That's the whole idea, is that it just blends in. You can park in certain areas of any town, which would include, of course, industrial areas, as long as they're not too, you gotta be careful kind of what part of town you're in. Residential areas that have a lot of folks who work in the trades and have work vans and stuff like that, it's really easy to park in those neighborhoods. That's what I've been doing a lot here in South Florida. And you always meet friends too who just say, you know, you can come park at my place. And so basically I've got solar on top to power all the stuff inside. I've got a water tank in there. The only thing I really have on the outside is here at the back. I have an inlet right here, like you would on an RV, just for the water.
And did you put that in?
Yep.
So
I did all this stuff myself. Well, I had the help of a friend who did a lot of the plumbing stuff. So, you know, you just put the water in there.
So that's for water.
Yep. Yeah, my buddy's an electrical and plumbing whiz.
Is there a tank that holds the water?
There is. There's a 15-gallon tank under my bed.
Okay, let's go climb up to the top first real quick.
Okay, sure.
And
yeah,
see
so
here.
it's easiest to get to the top. I'll just open this so you can step in here.
Okay, I just want to film the top.
You can hold on to that door.
Okay, so there's, how many solar panels are up here?
I've got two, and they're both 160 watts, so that gives me 320 watts. Which will pull in about 13 to 16 amps per hour.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay, so tell us about the solar panels again here.
So the solar panels, if you want to start with the electrical system, I can show you that. I think that's what a lot of people will be curious about. But basically, if you look on, you can see I've got the wires and stuff all spray painted white. I've got the edges of the solar panels spray painted white, so it just all blends in with this white rack. And then you can see over in this corner, you can see where they actually come in, the positive and negative wire. If you put the camera high enough, you can see right there where those go through the roof, and there's some silicone there to keep it sealed and everything. And then
how many hours of electricity does that give you?
It charges every day and keeps charged. So it really depends on what I'm running. I can show you the electrical gadgets I have here.
And how much is a system like what you put in here? Would you say if somebody doesn't have a friend, how much is a system like something like that?
Well, the installation can get expensive, but it's really not that complicated. I could have researched the stuff and taken more time myself, but I had friends who just really wanted to help me, and they knew what they were doing, so it made it really easy. And really, a friend and I, even while I was working full-time, we managed to build this in 2 weeks.
And how much would you say the solar panels cost?
The solar panels, it depends on what quality you get. I mean, these are Kyocera, so they're very, very heavy duty. These things are built like a tank. The frame is very rigid and they're not flimsy. But you can get some as low as $1 a watt. These costed a bit more because it's the big brand name, and probably for my whole electrical system, I'd say I spent maybe $2,000 or something like that.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to take a look inside now through.
Yeah, so I've got a curtain right here. Of course you want privacy. So it's just real simple. Blackout curtain from Walmart. A lot of people like black. I just kind of went with this. And up there, if you look by that pillar,
oops, sorry.
If you look at that pillar behind that banana machine there, you can see that red wire kind of. That's where they come down.
Okay.
And then they go down under here, and that's where my batteries are. So I've got two, let me turn on a light for you. These are two 300 amp hour 6-volt batteries. They're like people would use in forklifts. Very heavy duty industrial batteries. They're wired together to make a 12-volt 300 amp hour battery. I've still got to mount this somewhere, but this basically, you can see right now, it's pulling in 10 amps just to charge up from what I used yesterday. Actually, it's already at 13.9 volts, so this keeps them really topped off. I've got the solar controller here. At the very back, it might be hard to see, but there's a fuse block at the very top back there.
Okay.
That's where everything comes in. And I like to store things with no metal parts. Like I store plastic jugs like my soap and the oil for my Dutch oven and things like that under here. Vacuum cleaner. So I've got quite a bit of storage underneath next to the batteries.
Okay, and then here's more storage here.
And yep, moving up, I've got drawers just with all kinds of miscellaneous stuff.
And then there's your little countertop up there. Did you
Yes.
build this piece?
I did. I built the cabinet. I did a lot of the wood stuff myself, like the panels on the walls and that type of stuff. It was really the electrical and plumbing stuff where I got the help of my friends.
Okay, so...
And on top, I've got all kinds of appliances. I've got a juicer back there. I've got a blender so I can eat healthy on the road. I've even got a little oven to reheat leftovers if I eat some food out there that I want to heat up. And right there's a banana creamer thing for frozen bananas so I can make banana ice cream. And I keep the bananas and stuff down in my fridge right there.
So you have a bed back here, and you have storage under the bed, but you have a fridge here. Show us the fridge.
Yeah, the fridge is really cool. That's one of my favorite things in here. Now this fridge can be powered by DC or 110, or 120 I should say. So it's got two plugs down there. I've got it hooked to 12 volt right now. It isn't actually on because it's empty. But you can see there's this storage area and then this storage area. And what I like to do personally is keep this as a freezer. And now even keeping this as a freezer, if I'm in the sun all day, I can keep this thing charged. I just gotta make sure I'm parked in the sun.
Now, did you get that at a camping store or something?
I did. I actually got it online. These are kind of expensive. There's a few different brands. This is the Dometic, which is sold as Waco in Canada and other parts of the world. And this was, I think, a little over $500. It's a 50 quart. So what I like to do is run this side as a freezer, and I'll keep frozen bananas in there. I can keep frozen berries for when I make my smoothies. I can keep bags of frozen vegetables. I like to eat a lot of rice and whole grains that I cook in. I have a little rice cooker that's not in here now that I like to use to cook, and I can boil water with that and everything. It's like a little double boiler. So I keep the frozen stuff in there, and then this little thing on the side, it doesn't get quite as cold, so this kind of works like a fridge. And because I don't consume dairy and stuff like that, I don't really have much in the way of things I keep refrigerated.
Sure.
And the other cool thing is I can keep freezer packs that I can rotate into an ice chest and keep that as a separate fridge. So I put the freezer packs in that, and when they thaw, I just switch them back out with the ones in here. So that works really well. Yeah, the bed's here. I'll show you from the back. I'll show you the water tank underneath. But there's a 15-gallon water tank that goes to a water pump right here that's under the bed, an electric water pump. And then that goes into here. If you want to sit over here, you can see kind of the workings of that. If you look underneath, it might be hard to see.
Okay, so this is the sink, and there's a little cabinet under there.
There is.
Is that for storage, or is there something in there?
There's storage, and then if you look, you'll see the hose for the, it's kind of full right now, but you can see the hose for the water.
Okay.
And Here on the side, I've got, you know, a 120 that runs across from my inverter. The inverter is right there beside you.
So you can plug something like a laptop into there.
I actually prefer to run everything I can off 12 volt. I've got an adapter for my laptop because when you go through the inverter, it's really inefficient for the energy because it's basically got to take 120 and then step it down to 12 volt, and that really it's really not very efficient. Up above, I've got these roof vents too, which these are what keeps me cool. I've got dual roof vents, so one can blow in and one can blow out.
Okay.
And that's a lifesaver here in South Florida.
And those work on electric.
Yeah, all this stuff is wired to my house batteries here that I just showed you.
Now the fans here do you have AC back here, or is it the fans that you made?
It's just fans.
Okay.
I do carry a portable AC sometimes if it's a really hot time of year, but that just requires me to plug in somewhere to be able to run it because I can't do that off this.
And the fans are sufficient enough even for South Florida.
Except in the summer, it gets really humid, and the problem with the humidity is there's no way to get that out.
Sure.
And dehumidifiers, real dehumidifiers, or real ACs that have a compressor is pretty much what's required to dry that out, and those take a lot of power. You can run them on if you have like 1,000 watts, but that's 3 times as much solar as I have. I just don't have room on this.
Now, what about heat for the winter time?
Heat for the winter, I just try to stay in warmer climates. That's my plan. It's not very insulated. There is a little bit of insulation on the back of these panels. You'll notice that I did not build the panels out on top of the ribs like most people do because I want to be able to sleep across. By putting my bed crossways like this, I have so much more room. I'm 5'10" and a half. I'm almost 5'11", and you can see even if I was 6 feet, I'd probably still be able to fit in here. But a lot of people put their bed long ways, and that just, in my opinion, if you can put it crossways, you're just going to have a lot more room.
Okay, and here's your sink that you use?
Yeah. I've got a switch here to turn it on and off, and it just drains out the bottom. And I've got a bucket I can put underneath if I want to catch the water, but usually I just let it run out. I use Castile soap, so I'm not concerned about...
Now, 2 things I don't see is a toilet or a shower.
Yep. Well, it's pretty easy for guys in vans because this is number 1 right here. And then number 2, I can show you at the back a bucket that I've got, and I've also got a camping toilet that I don't have in here right now, but I'll describe that process to you. And if while you're here you want to look to your right here on the side of this, you'll notice one of these curtains is cut short because I've got an inverter. I've got a 700 watt inverter. That's what converts when I turn this on, that converts the DC power to 120.
Okay.
And that's what powers this plug over here.
Okay. And what about a shower?
Okay, so for a shower, I can wash my hair in the sink right here. And baby wipes can kind of get you by in between showers, like if you wait a few days or whatever in between. And I have a gym membership. So I'll show you basically what I do here. For $20 a month, you can join a gym and have access nationwide to, you know, clean bathrooms and showers and places to work out. You know, I just keep a bag with the things I need. I've got my little gym card in here, and these are my showers right here.
So basically, I don't see a lot of clothes. I assume there's some under the bed, but
Yep.
Do you not own a lot of clothes?
I don't own very many clothes at all. Most of the clothes I own right now, I'm still working full-time, but I'm about to retire in just 5 days. This has been a long time coming for me. And you'll see these handles. These are just handles like you would put on cabinets in a house. And I've got room for plenty of hangers to hang up jackets or other clothes. I've got some storage under the bed to store the rest of my clothes. We won't pull everything out right now, but I can show you kind of what I have under here. This is the bucket I was talking about, which I haven't actually used yet. This is still new. But these Gamma Seal lids are awesome. You know, they make these toilets they call luggable loos, which is basically just a lid that you put on
I have one.
5-gallon bucket. I don't feel like those seal quite as tight. I don't know, I've never really used one of those, so I can't say personally, but I know that these are very, very airtight and don't let any odor or anything out. The only concern with that is if you're using it for multiple uses, you got to put something in to take care of the moisture, like baking soda or sawdust or something like that, like you would with a composting toilet. And of course use biodegradable bags. But I do also have a camping toilet where you just use the chemicals. Some places I plan on camping out in the west, there's this stuff called BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, where you can camp for free, and they require you to have the camping toilet, which I will have with me when I'm getting on the road. But you'll also see under here I have, because the van only gets 15 miles per gallon, I've got a folding bicycle that can fit under my bed. So that lets me get around and you know.
What company bike?
This is a Dahan. I can pull it out if you want to see it. But,
Sure.
it's pretty cool. Got my pump, of course.
And how often do you ride the bike?
Well, I haven't really seen with being on the road yet because I've pretty much just been here locally. But I used to use this at work all the time. And it makes it great just to, I've got a little rack on here. So if we're going out and grabbing groceries and things like that, it's really great. But you see how easily this all goes together. Really just like that, and it's ready to ride. Well, I'll put this right. Yep. So
Wow.
it's like a full-length bike. This is the cool thing about this, because it's got 20-inch wheels. But you know, like on BMX bikes, the little bikes that people race on the tracks, or the bikes they do tricks on, the wheels are really close together. But these are far apart, so it really feels like more like a full-size bike.
And
I love this thing.
is this a popular name, Dahan,
It
for a
is.
folding
They've
bike?
been around just as long as Brompton. I think both Dahan and Brompton have both been around since late 70s, early 80s kind of era.
And how much does a bike
They're
like
made
this
in
cost?
Taiwan. This is about $400. You're gonna spend about $400 or $500 for a really good one. The Bromptons are great. They're all handmade in England, but because they cost over $1,000. You know, and they're great. They'll last forever. But for me, I just want something more affordable. And Taiwanese bikes are good. Some people don't like the ones made in China. I don't really know that much about them, but Taiwan's supposed to be really good.
Is it a speed bike or just...
It's actually called the Speed Uno. And the funny thing is, I had a full-size bike with 700C wheels that I used to commute to work on, and I get there just as fast on this little guy. Now, if I was trying to ride as fast as I could on that bigger bike, that would be a different story, but just riding at a casual pace, you don't notice any difference.
Wonderful.
And it's
Really
very
nice.
maneuverable for big cities and things like that. So that's another thing to consider, is if I go into San Francisco, it would be very difficult for me to get around San Francisco or a city like that in a full-size van. So I could just drive into somewhere across the bridge, San Jose or somewhere like that, ride this thing in, and then get around the city on it.
All right, it's folded up. Let us see how easy it is to fold up. You had this many years?
No, not that long. And I'm not that proficient at folding it yet because I haven't really folded it that many times yet. I've really mainly been using it at work so far.
There you go. Nice.
And then you just put the seat down.
Very good. And then right under, and then you're
Fits
done.
perfectly in here. I did have to get the single speed to be able to fit under the bed. They do make them with, you know, 3-speed and 7-speed models, but this is perfect for me. As long as I don't get on too many hills.
Yes.
So
Very nice. So there's the van.
that's the setup. I don't know if you saw the water tank under there, but it's right there.
Okay.
It's basically 2 feet by 1 feet by 1 foot, so it's not very big. Fits perfectly under a bed.
And the gas mileage, because you have everything in the van, is it any more than it would be if you didn't?
The rack probably cuts it down just a little bit, but I haven't really noticed a difference in the city. I get about, 14, 15, and if I really try to squeeze all the mileage I can and hypermile and don't run the AC, I can get 16. On the highway, I know people who have been able to get close to 20 on the highway, or right around 20 in a van like this. I personally haven't achieved that because I don't have cruise control, and inevitably I end up driving too fast and going with traffic. So as I get more discipline with that, I'm curious to see what I can achieve.
Cool. So how many square feet?
60. It's basically, so it's basically 6 feet across like you saw with me laying, and from here to the back of the seats, it's 10 feet.
60 square feet. No rent, No mortgage.
Yep.
No headaches, no utility bills.
Exactly, and the only thing I don't have is the bathroom. Now if I'm, like I said, in the city, I showed you my gym card, that's 20 bucks a month. But if I'm out in the middle of nowhere, now if I'm really in the middle of nowhere,
Doesn't matter.
I can
Yeah.
simply just hang a, I've got an outdoor shower. Basically you put a bag of water on your roof, it gets hot, and then you've got a hose that you open and it falls on you. So I can hang that off my roof rack. If I want privacy, I'm gonna have some kind of a tarp I can put across the back and just be able to use it right here.
But the majority of campgrounds in the country have showers too.
Exactly. So it's really, the showers really aren't an issue. This is the big question right here. So most people wouldn't mind sleeping in a van, right? If I told you, what do most people pay on rent? 1,200 bucks a month. So that's $40 a day. If I told you, would you sleep in a comfortable van like this for $40 for one night? Most people would say yes. And if I showed you that jug I showed you and said, would you pee in here for $40 a day? Most people would say yes. But this is the big question. If you're willing to use this if you need to, then you can save a lot of money. Because I've been living in this for a year and a half, and I really don't have to use this often.
Yeah, that's another thing is there's McDonald's and places all over the country. You don't
everywhere. It's really just for if the place I'm at is really nasty, or if I'm sick or something, and just really need something right now. But in general, you really don't need it. And living in this for a year and a half and working full time, I've basically been able to save all my money because this has been a dream of mine since I was 20. I went on an RV trip with my family, and I said, when I'm 40 years old, I'm gonna be out there traveling in an RV. I wanted to have the map with all the states to mark off as I went. It's been my dream. So what I did, as soon as I was able, I bought a house. It's all paid off. I rent it out. That's back in another state. And I have that income, and I also have a YouTube channel. I have the income from that, and that's enough for me to live on. So my salary from my job for the last year and a half has just been basically saved up to paying for this whole van, to paying off the rest of my house in another state.
Did you buy the van new or used?
Used. It's a 2009. I've had it about 2 years. It had right around 100,000 miles when I got it. I put 20 on there. So all told, this was about $20,000 for this whole build, including the price of the van. You can do them for less. A buddy of mine has a minivan that he built out. He bought the van and built it all out for $1,100 for everything. So the budgets go all the way. And as far as the sizes of the vehicles, those go all the way too, from a little Toyota Prius, which is really awesome because it's basically a generator on wheels, and you can run the AC and heat at night, and the engine just idles once in a while to charge the battery. You can go anywhere from that to an SUV or truck with a camper, to a minivan, to a full-size van like this, all the way up to a Sprinter van that you can actually stand up and have enough room for a restroom inside, to RVs with full hookups. There's really options all along the way.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for the tour, and you're an inspiration, and I want to invite everybody to explore the idea of not being tied down to rent or mortgage, or just to be free.
Yep.
So thank you, Will.
Yeah, my YouTube.
Give us your YouTube channel, and also how people can contact you.
My YouTube channel is willburson.com. That's B-U-R-S-O-N. Actually, that's my webpage. You'll go to my blog, and you'll see a button right there for YouTube. Or you can just search me on YouTube, Will Burson.
Great, and you have a lot of videos there about the van. So
I do. I've got, gosh, the timing worked out to where my 3rd anniversary on YouTube and my 1,000th video is going to be right at the time that I leave to get on the road. So it's a big thing that's going to be happening here in a few days.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for showing us your van, your house.
My pleasure.
All right. All right, everybody, that was my friend Will Burson. Check out his YouTube channel. He has some great videos about how to do this van thing. And like he said at the end, there's many different options you have. But you don't need a big house, folks. You can live happily, and the less you have, it comes to a point where you will own your stuff and your stuff won't own you. So thanks for watching. Have a great day and a great world life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.